各位老师好啊！团队好，对，好，不行，我们现在开始讲英文。没有了，没有，完全没有。我跟你讲，我今天刚跟这四位外师讲了半小时嘛，解释得很清楚。接下来的2个半小时大概会发生什么事情，我就跟各位再解释一次。在那个黑板上啊，我刚跟他们4位就谈到，我们接下来会有4个 parts。Part 1就是有点像 mini bio， 就是啊，他们就大概介绍一下自己啊。我们刚刚聊天超好玩的，他们来自四面八方的背景啊。第一位是 Melanie， 然后你们应该是说啊 Hi Melanie 之类的，我也不知道。对，然后第2位是 Michael， 对，第3位是 Leslie， 对，第4位还是 Michael。我不想要把好玩的故事破梗了，大概是来自美国，他等下会说来自英国，然后他们各自的背景都非常精彩的故事。今天下午与其说是一个研讨会，不如像是一个 panel， 就是一个分享的论坛啊。我想让他们4位先讲他们大概自己的介绍，可是我不想他们说I am 14 years old, I come from Taipei， 我不想要那个样子。那我希望可以聚焦在一件事情上面，就是 my favorite things， 就是说我们希望我们的孩子学英文可以跟他们可以沟通嘛，对不对？那 their favorite things, especially when they're growing up， 跟我们的孩子的 favorite things when they're growing up， 如果没有交集的话，那大家长大了就没话可聊吗？例如我现在47岁，他们40-50岁，我现在一些大人要聊天啦，大人要聊天，40多岁的人的30岁的时候喜欢什么，20岁喜欢什么，10岁喜欢什么，5岁喜欢什么。如果我们刚好可以找到说 Her favorite book was Dr. Seuss， 我说我也喜欢 Dr. Seuss 啊 Green Eggs and Ham 啊，什么什么 Cat in the Hat 之类的，然后我们就开始有话可以聊嘛。所以我想要透过他们很有趣的跟大家聊他们小时候喜欢的 favorite rhyme, favorite children's poem, favorite song， 可是长大以后就是 favorite movie， right？ 最喜欢的电影。刚刚跟 Melanie 一聊的时候，他就说 There's so many， 太多了，你要我从何聊起啊？我就这个意思啊。如果我们的孩子学英文的时候是一直大量的看西方电影 ，if they have so many films。And she has so many films， 然后就可以开始聊嘛。那我就想听他们讲他最喜欢的是什么。你们包括我啊，我们大家就可以对号入座，说，我也是啊，我也喜欢 Star Wars。你看，就是那有可能你会想说 What is Star Wars？ 那就麻烦了，你知道吗？那有些人不是喜欢 Star Wars， 有些人是喜欢 Star Trek。Any Trekkies？See， 有些人喜欢 Star Trek， 就是星舰迷航记嘛。美国大概就分2种人，一种是 Star Wars， 一种是 Star Trek。可是有可能英国的朋友 neither Star Wars nor Star Trek， 有可能吗？也就是说，我希望第一个 session 就是他们介绍自己的过程中，我们自己就很平心静气的彼此对号入座。你们可以想看看自己小时候错失了西方文化的什么，那有没有可能让孩子不要错失那一段的这样子？ 好不好？然后真的是天南地北哦，刚刚已经聊到坐牢跟那个杀人跟就是他们的工作啦，不是他们本身坐牢杀人了，他们工作有碰过杀人坐牢，就什么都有了，什么都有，就很好玩了啊！我一直觉得我们台湾的孩子跟外师之间不应该很局限在那一种考试的东西啊，他们也有苦水啊。所以我的第二个部分叫 suggestions， 就是说他们到底对在台湾教英文，他到底有什么建议吗？他们觉得有什么缺点可以我们协助他们吗？像他们几乎异口同声的说交通啊，可能南投真的学校跟学校中间很远还是什么吧，就他们会有他们的想法吗？我们是主人嘛，他们是客人啊，总是善尽主人之谊嘛，对不对？了解他们的需求，我们能做的当然可以尽量帮忙做这样子。好，然后刚才聊到喝酒啊，英国朋友就会说 ，There's no real pub in Taiwan, right？ 对啊，然后他说我们都在喝 whisky。一次就灌很会喝这样，I am one of them, I confess.
Oh, yeah. Nobody told me that.
I didn't.
I thought you went quiet.
There's a whiskey actually right here.
No.
See?
You're going to drink that now?
Well, if you want, would you like to? 就是说，
One beer with you?
像他很喜欢喝台啤啊，所以第二部分就是 suggestions that they might have。第三部分叫做 I asked them, and they were kind enough to accept my invitation. 就是 Could you kindly read for us？ 就是我希望还是回归到研习的发音这件事情的本质嘛，请他们念给我们听啊。念什么呢？念上面这个啊。上面这两个东西 That's all you need to read for us. Like I said, I wrote a short story and an extended version of that short story. 那我等一下他们就念 a mouse, a cheese, a mouse and a cheese, a cheese and a mouse. 然后他们在念的时候就跟第四个部分有关系，就是 allow us to transcribe. 因为我们不是有66个注音符号吗？他们在念的时候会有美国口音跟菲律宾口音跟英国口音吗？我就想要说，比如说突然我就说can you pause please? I want to transcribe a certain word that you just pronounced. 然后他们就会停嘛 they'll pause, right? 然后我们就透过大倩的荧幕就会把66个注音符号左边会有好多，你现在可以秀吗？左边会有好多蓝色跟红色的砖块积木，右边会有一个空白的档案夹。譬如说他们突然讲到 mouse， 然后可能英国朋友不念 mouse， 他念 mouse， 有可能是这样，那我就把 mouse 也 transcribe 出来，把 mouse 也 transcribe 出来，这样子然后我们就开心的踏上夕阳的归途，依依不舍的离开这次丰收满满的研习，这样子好不好？好啊，鼓掌。那我们就开始了哈。Shall we begin?
Okay. So one thing we didn't
Yes.
ask.
Please.
One thing we didn't ask is the English level.
They're
The English level of
all
teachers.
elementary and junior high school English teachers. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're all English teachers.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, except for this guy, right here. They're studying to be. So, ladies first or Michael first?
I'll go first.
Yeah, sure. 我们先替 Michael 鼓掌好不好？
Well, hello everyone. So I'm from Sheffield, England, and I came to Taiwan 3 years ago. I've been here 3 years. Okay. I'm 55 years old, nearly 56. And I grew up most of my time in Sheffield, England. Moved about to different parts of Europe now and again. to France and places like that. And basically, that was what I did for 25 years of my life, was move around Europe. And I did my degree in England in astrophysics.
Okay.
And technically I'm an astronomer. That is my hobby and my interest now. And I've got a great big telescope at Yingpan School. So if anyone wants to come and have a look at the moon, they're very welcome to.
You're an astrophysicist.
Yeah.
Okay. 天文物理学家呢？哦。
So that's what I do now. In Taiwan now, I teach physics, chemistry and maths back to England at the weekend. So that's what I do. And I teach a little bit of English in the week. I can't teach in the week back to England, otherwise I'll be up at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
I can't do that. So it's just weekends only back to England.
Michael, do you mind switching microphones with Leslie? Let's see how that works.
Yeah, so
Can you turn that off? The first one off.
This one?
Yes, yeah, that's much better. Yes.
There you go.
Why don't you say the whole thing again? No, I'm just kidding. No. We all understood. So you're actually
Taped it.
we did. You're not teaching English mostly. You're teaching actual subjects.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to England. What does that mean?
I teach through Skype.
Okay.
Through the computer back to England, to my students in England.
For high school, for junior high, for college?
Both. It's for university students,
Okay.
and it's really A-level students,
Okay.
16, 17-year-olds and older.
Okay. And you teach some math,
Maths,
Physics,
and chemistry.
chemistry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And then on the free time that you have left, you teach English to our kids.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I find that really, it's pleasing actually, because they don't understand me, so I could say what I want.
Okay.
But no, I'm joking. Yeah, I enjoy it. I do enjoy teaching the English. It gets a little bit boring sometimes.
Teaching us?
A little bit boring, yeah.
Why?
So,
You're jumping to number 2, right? You're jumping to suggestions now.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I don't know. I'm not an English teacher as such, so that's probably why. I
Okay.
don't actually like my own language, because I think that some of the words should be eliminated altogether because they're unnecessary.
Okay.
Half the vocabulary in English is actually rubbish.
Okay.
It's not necessary at all.
Do you mind if I translate
some
for
of the
you?
long words.
Do you mind if I translate what you just said?
Absolutely.
他说他不喜欢英文啊，他不喜欢这个语言呢。他说英文里面有很多的字都是垃圾，应该直接删掉就好了嘛。
Yeah. So some of the words are a bit weird as well, like we spell knife with a K. Who did that? And it. So, it's basically.
I want to translate that. 他说把 knife 用 K 来拼嘛，是谁呢？是 an idiot， 是一个白痴才会把 knife 用 K。It should be knife.
Yeah, I was saying to one of my colleagues earlier that I prefer the American spelling for things, not the English, because they have a shortened way of spelling things. We were saying colour earlier.
Okay.
In England, it's C-O-L-O-U-R, and you fail all your exams if you forget to put the U in.
Okay.
You know? But in America, it's C-O-L-O-R. Is that right? Yeah. So there's lots of words like that in the English language that are completely unnecessary.
May I?
Yeah.
颜色这个字，2号 Michael 跟1号 Michael 非常的义愤填膺说，我这个英国 Michael 比较喜欢你们美国人的拼法，因为我们英国人 spell color 是 C-O-L-O-U-R， 然后美国人是 C-O-L-O-R， 然后呢，当我们的英国朋友 forget there's an U there somewhere 的时候，你就会被扣2分 ，you get points deducted, right? You get your answers wrong. 然后所以呢， phonics 怎么办 ？phonics 是英国人讨厌自己的拼法，然后希望采用美国的方式吗 ？But wouldn't the American Michael say, why can't we spell color Kolor?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Well, you've got other things like mo, toe, and cow.
Mo, toe, and cow?
How do we explain why the OW has the O sound on this word and the OW has an ow sound in this word? I don't know. I tell them I don't know why. Memorize it.
Just memorize it.
There's no logic. I don't know what the logic is between why it's toe here and cow there.
You mean toe as in T-O-W and cow as in C-K-C.
A C-O-W.
Okay.
There's no explanation for telling students why. There's no rule for telling them why that's
But
what it
we
is.
all have been taught that there are rules. They're called phonics rules.
No. There are no rules. C-O-W, cow. C-E-L-L, cell.
Right.
What's the rule?
Whether it's a k or a s. There's no rule.
We need to rewrite the English language.
Actually, it's been rewritten. I don't know who rewrote it, but it's completely phonetic.
It's probably a computer that's done it, you know.
Yeah, I believe it was.
AI.
Yeah.
各位，
We have,
oh,
a
go
lot
ahead.
of our words come from different countries. Like cafe is not an English word. It would be cafe. But because it's
It's
French,
French, yeah.
we have an issue with so many of our English words are coming from German
We
roots.
have
or
an
from-
issue with the French.
And,
That's another.
and particularly with Britain, I mean, a Canadian discovered the metal that you make a Coca-Cola can out of, and he named it aluminum. And he sent it to England so that the Royal Society of Sciences could mark his discovery. They said, oh, that's not scientific enough. Now it's aluminium.
That's right.
So they want to make it sound smarter.
That's right, yeah, that's right.
And why do you spell center C-E-N-T-R-E?
That's you. That's on you. That's on you.
I think our point is that the English language is over-academized. It's over-academized,
Okay.
you know? So it yeah. It is, isn't it?
Yeah, over Latinized.
I never thought I'd get here and slate my own language, but we are doing it. It's amazing. Stick to Taiwanese.
那个各位老师，我们目睹了一场那个台湾外师的希望消灭英语的一场革命。他们在台湾教英文以后，发现英文乱七八糟，就是我一直在谈的那个问题。然后你们刚刚有没有发现，当他们说 "There's no rule", "There's TOW", "There's COW"。There's no rule 的时候，当我说 there are rules, we were all taught and trained to teach those rules to our children. The rules are called phonics. 然后他们马上就跳出 No, there's no rule. There's no rule. There's no logic.
Well, when I was in second grade, I had a spelling test, and the word was will, and I spelled it capital W-I-L-L. And the teacher marked it wrong. I said, why? I spell it that way on every paper. It's my name. It's capitalized. My family name is Will.
Okay.
So when I see it, I write it. When I write it capital. Second grade, that's wrong. So if I write it Michael Will with a small w, that's wrong. English is not
Who can spell necessary here?
Necessary.
That's amazing.
How about Mississippi?
Why not Nessasnry?
That proves that I'm actually with the top 0.5% of the intellectuals in the world. That's amazing.
我们各位老师们，谁可以把 necessary 拼对啊 ？necessary 嘛 ，right？ 然后大家通通都可以 Necessary。One R or two
Why
R's?
is the first one C, the second two S's? Necessary.
Should we start a new language?
When I was growing up in the States, that word was Mississippi.
Yes.
That's M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I.
Say that again.
Please say it
Fast. How fast can you say Mississippi?
对，所以我是说我在美国念小学的时候，我们那个最讨厌的就是 Mississippi， 因为 Mississippi 实在是 M-I-S-S 两个，然后 I 一个，然后 Mississippi， 然后 S-S 又两个，然后 P 又两个 ，right？ Two S double S double S double
You
P。
gotta sing it. M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I.
You gotta sing it.
Oh, yeah, it's part of the song.
It's a song.
It's a pattern. If you say the pattern, it just goes.
Okay.
They didn't
Would-
tell us that in our school. Our school was rubbish. Thank you.
Could you do you mind sing it first?
I don't know the song.
It's just
It's just
it's-
M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just a.
It's just that there's a beat.
Oh, there's a beat.
It's a chant. It's a
Okay.
M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I.
Microphone for Leslie. Where's your? Yeah. Do it. Do the chant.
Yeah, when we were younger, we always do that, like M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. So there's the beat. So this
M-I-S-S-I.
Hers is off.
Hers is off.
Hers is off.
She said I.
M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I.
M-I-S-S.
No, M-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. No. M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-Y.
Yeah, that's what I said. M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I.
That's better.
然后 it is the same. 你们有没有发觉啊？你们有没有发觉要求台湾的小学生去 spelling 的这一件事情，在4位外师的身上充分得到证明，说它是一个很荒谬的事情。他们到老了都在教英文了，讲到这个还很烦，说我应该把英文给干掉，因为它没有道理嘛。而这个没有道理的事情，是我们孩子的梦魇呢。做噩梦就是拼字拼错吗 ？Okay, so we please
Can I just share something about, because we're talking about spelling.
yes.
I know a movie, but I'm thinking what's the title of the movie.
Okay.
I cannot think.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's about spelling.
Okay.
It's about spelling bee, like a girl,
Okay.
like a teenage girl with curly hair,
Okay.
having a spelling, and she's really good.
Okay.
But the movie also teaches you how to spell.
Okay.
Like technique, like you can do actions, you can do beats,
Okay.
like you can do jumping ropes while you spell.
Okay.
Something like that. I still,
We'll find the movie.
that?
We'll find the movie. All right.
I don't know.
American film or Indian film or
American.
American?
But well, the characters are mixed. Like they have Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can find it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's the problem with spelling? No, they just a contest for the kids.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were.
Tell your story.
Already my turn.
No. I think Michael was just beginning.
Finished.
You're finished? Okay. You want whiskey? 哎，我们帮 Michael 倒一点酒好不好？哈哈哈哈。
Sorry.
找到电影了，叫什么？
Sorry.
Oh, Aquila, yes. Thank you. Aquila and the Bee. That's
All right.
really a good movie.
All right, Aquila and the Bee.
Aquila, A-K-E-E-L-A-H.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yes. Yes.
Aquila and the Bee.
This is a fact
Is
finder.
it American?
No, I knew it. Actually, yes, it's
It's American.
Who's in it?
Who do we know?
I don't know the
Who's
character.
in it?
我跟你讲 you know what? Let's pause right here. We're getting a little sidetracked. Let's move on to Leslie 的那个好不好？哈 Yeah.
Hi, I'm
Please.
Leslie. I come from the Philippines.
Okay.
Who among you here have been to my country before? Oh, where? Manila? Boracay! Yeah, see?
Black
Yeah.
Air Force Base.
Yeah, I have, my country is composed of 7,000 plus islands. So if you want to visit, you can really go island to island. I'm 25 years old. I'm just new here. Not really new, but still new. For 10 months, only for 10 months. I'm teaching in Sanyu High School.
Where?
Sanyu. How do you say?
Sanyu.
Sanyu.
Huh?
Yeah, we call it Taiwan.
What is it?
This college. Sanyu. Yeah, near Shannon Lake.
善玉
Sanyu. Oh.
山 mountain
San is
3 as in 3
yeah 3 because the 3 schools are inside,
山
right?
教育等于三育
Sanyu.
Yes.
How do you pronounce what Y U? Yu. Oh,
It's not a fish.
so hard.
Is it pronounced the same as a fish?
It's not. 鱼 is fish. 育 is education.
Is that what the same
Oh,
meaning?
Education. Yeah, because the 3 schools are inside. Like
Okay.
We have international school, we have Adventist Academy, and the college.
OK， 刚刚我们在聊天的时候，就刚好，你看我们今天的那个如有神助啊，就是我们今天的讨论会啊，从一开始本来只是要自我介绍，突然转到英美人士自己讨厌自己的语言的 spelling， 后来就转到他们对于我们中文的汉语拼音有非常大的意见，因为刚刚 Melanie you were telling me that you were telling someone that you're going to 考屯
Cowton.
Cowton.
Well, no, but it's supposed to be chow.
Yeah, because it's spelled C-A-O. So automatically we say cow.
My
Cowton.
students are going, where are we going? I said, Cowton. Where is that? I'm like, on the way to Cowton.
这就是我们在谈的同一个事情的两面啊。他们外国人看到 C-A-O 的时候 it's hard not to pronounce it 考屯。那你要跟他讲说那个叫做草屯，恐怕要拼另外一种方式这样子啊。
Okay, what about
What about we went to Chicheng?
Chicheng
Cha-chung.
And it's like Cha-chung. It's like C-H-E-N-G, C-H-E-N-G, Cheng, Chong, Chong. And I'm like, where are we?
Chung, chung.
Chung, Chong. No, it's Chicheng.
Chicheng
And some of the words here have a lot of a lot of spelling. Like for example, Chongwen. Chongwen Lane in Yuchi. Chongwen. Like some
鱼池的崇文路
I don't know. Chongwen, our address, right? Chongwen, yeah. Some spell it as Q-U-O. Some spell it Q-U-O-N-G. Then W-E-N, like Chongwen. Yeah. Some spell it as C-H-U-N-G, like Chung. Chungwen. How do you say
Let's just
that?
look at Yuchi. Y-O-U-C-H-I. Y-U-C-H-I. Y-U-C-H-I-H.
Yes.
There's a
A
huge
lot.
difference between Yuchi, Yuchi, I-H, Yuchi,
And
Y-O-U, U-C-H. I took a picture. There are 4 signs between Puli and Yuchi, 4 different spellings. And in English, you would spell each of them
You know what?
differently.
After this session is over,
We can have that in our complaints later.
before this session is over, we would have
We were tasked to share our
destroyed
complaints
Chinese
about
and English.
So I think we can.
Who did the translation for the signs in Taiwan then?
Apparently 4 groups.
Really?
Apparently 4 different groups.
That explains things.
explains things?
Yeah, explains things.
所以好，那我们就在此 let's take a pause here again. 我们就大概可以理解语言的2种面向嘛 ，right？ 很有意思啊，外国人看我们的语言，外国人看他们的语言啊，听起来好像都是 spelling 的错啊，听起来好像都是一个声音，好多种拼法。英文也是这样 ，one sound, so many variations of spellings. Both in English and in Chinese, it happens to the English language. 然后那个Leslie, do you have when you were growing up? Did you have favorite children's books or nursery rhymes or songs
I've
or?
got a lot in my mind.
Okay.
So I list them down.
Okay.
Like the famous in my time, like good morning. Like we do it every morning. Like we greet our teachers
Oh.
or our classmates. Like Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? Good morning, good morning. I'm fine, thank you. Hello, hello, hello. We always do that
Okay.
in the morning.
Right.
Hello, how do you do? I'm glad to be with you, and you, and you, and you. Yeah, so
鼓掌。
in my time, we always do that every morning.
Can I sing now? I'll clear the room.
Okay. If you don't mind, let's speed things along and let's turn to
Okay.
Michael.
All right, my name is Michael, as you know, Michael Will.
With the small or capital W.
Capital.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, capital. I teach here.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm a teacher here.
我们要鼓掌，这是 hometown，你知道，地主队，地主队。
Fantastic school. I just can't figure out why my contract says Hong Rin and the sign at the front says Hong Jin.
Yes,
Huh? It is.
yes.
R-E-N on the contract, J-E-N on the wall.
这边的红人在他的契约上面是红人 REN， 在外面的墙壁上是 JEN 呢。好 ，Yeah, two different groups. Yeah. It's different on the GPS. Okay.
But I was born in 1958, so I am 63, almost 63.
You do not look at all.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank
No.
you.
How did it went that way? How do you make it younger?
No, because I had 4 wives. 4 wives make you look younger. Yeah, I'm on my 4th wife.
Okay, okay.
So,
Have 4 wives.
had. Just have just one. Have one. Over time, 4 different ones. Okay?
You have to understand you're sitting with a room full of English teachers who know grammar back and back to back. Grammar. Had, have, will be having. Anyway,
I thought I said I've had 4 wives.
I know.
But that's one of the things
Sure.
that makes teaching English so difficult, because we don't speak proper English.
Okay.
What's the word for pushing the sentence together?
Running it. Running it together.
Running it together, but there's a specific word for it.
Yeah, there is, and I forgot that. I could not.
It was on my mind and it just slipped my mind. But that's like, there's a guy named Jeff Foxworthy, a comedian in America from Atlanta, Georgia. And one of the funniest bits he does is, gee, yeah! 4 words. I just said 4 words. Gee, yet? Did you eat yet?
I thought it was the sound of a horse. Like, yeah.
Not yet, you.
What is that? Not Jeju?
Not yet, you.
Oh, not Jeju. Not Jeju is not yet you, and Jiyet is
Yet.
Jiyet is did you eat yet?
Yeah. But, yeah.
You like comedians, stand-up
I love
comedians.
comedians.
There's one similar joke like that called, I'm pretty sure you know this, I'm just sharing for them, Get Her Done.
Oh, the cable guy.
Yes, the cable guy.
The cable.
我刚刚在跟他讲说，因为他刚谈到一个非常冷门的 Fox Jeffworthy 是一个很冷门的脱口秀的 stand-up comedian 啊，我刚好非常喜欢看 stand-up comedy， 所以我才会突然跟他讲到那个人。
Larry the cable guy.
Yeah, right.
You're done.
Okay. Please continue.
Anyway, I grew up in southern Indiana. Winters were very cold. Summers were very hot and humid. I come from a very large family, so there wasn't a lot of reading fairy tales or nursery rhymes, those kind of things. We fought a lot. When we weren't fighting, we played baseball.
How many siblings?
5 brothers, 2 sisters.
Wow.
And my mother had 8 children in 9 years. She started in 55 and quit in 64. She quit because she realized what caused it. But Yeah, I grew up in a big family.
Okay.
I hated school. Probably my most hated subject in school was English.
Yeah, me too.
I actually failed English in high school.
Snap.
Yeah, because I refused to do the stupid readings.
It's more in common than our name.
Yeah. I had no intentions of ever going to university.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to go to work, wanted to get married. And I did. I went to work, got married when I was 20.
Okay.
Had my only biological daughter when I was 21. She's now 41. Yeah, 41. She'll be 42 this year. And haven't seen her in 32 years. Yeah, so the original divorce was not fun.
Okay. What was your favorite baseball team?
St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay.
St. Louis Cardinals.
And your favorite pitcher or
Favorite
catcher?
pitcher, Bob Gibson. Favorite base runner, Lou Brock. Most Americans who don't know a lot about baseball like the New York Yankees.
Okay.
The Yankees have won the most World Series. The St. Louis Cardinals have won the second most.
Okay.
Okay? They were only 150, 200 kilometers away from my house. My first professional baseball game I went to, I was 8 years old.
Okay.
And rode in a car from Evansville, Indiana, where I grew up, to St. Louis to watch a baseball game. Worst road trip in the world. I got chewing gum on my pants. My father made me take my pants off in the car while he tried to get it out with the ice. But no, it's just,
Do you mind if we pause here? 我们刚刚谈到他8岁的时候就被带到看第一场职棒嘛，对不对 ？St. Louis Cardinals。那美国有那么多的职棒球队，每一个球队一定都有一个城市的所在地嘛。那这样如果有30支球队，就有30个城市，然后至少会有一个超级大咖的明星球员嘛。这样就是90个英文单字啊。这90个英文单字显然可以跟 Michael 非常有文化交集的交流嘛。那可是我们自己在台湾的，不管是教科书还是各位老师的课外补充教材，很有可能不会想到去补充 Major League Baseball， 还是 National Football League， 还是 National Basketball Association， 或者是 National Hockey League， 可能不会这样。I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the sports scene. OK， 因为我跟你讲，因为在欧洲的体育的那个板块跟美国的体育板块非常的不一样。我只是想强调说，体育在英文，尤其是美国的英文里面，美式的文化里面是非常大的一部分。而这一部分我们如果没有去琢磨的话，其实会让孩子无形中丧失很多跟外师交流的机会啦。I wanted to write something on the board to have you guys choose. Brady or Mahomes? Are you familiar with those two names? You're not.
as long as Brady loses, I'm happy.
All right, okay. 因为最近超级 Yes, football.
Tom
Like
Brady
not in baseball, football, yeah.
and Tom Brady
And Patrick Mahomes.
This is his 10th World Championship.
Right.
Go to his 10th Super Bowl, and everybody gives him credit, but he goes with 11 guys. Plus,
Right.
he only plays half the game.
Well, the story is he was fired from the other team, and then he went to the new team, and the new team went to the Super Bowl.
Right. 然后你看哦，let me pause here。你看哦，他们两个是不是开始聊天了？这样的聊天的情况，一般的台湾不管是老师还是民众是看不到的。你们看到我提到 Super Bowl， 就是2个礼拜后的超级杯，谈到 Tom Brady 跟 Patrick Mahomes 的时候，他们2个人就会开始聊这件事情，然后Michael 他就会很讨厌说 As long as Brady loses, I'm happy， 因为我就是不要他赢，不管他跟谁打，因为那个人实在是跟赢太多了啦，那个人已经打第10次超级杯了。然后他说 He plays with 11 people， 就是说不要大家都把光环都 加注在这个人身上啊，他还有11个 teammates 跟他一起打嘛，然后他还说 he plays half the game， 因为有一半叫 offense， 一半叫 defense， 其实还有 special teams， 对不对？就是 a third of the game， 就是说他根本，然后他在讲这些事情的时候，我相信各位不太熟体育的话，你是听不懂的。可是那个东西在我们台湾的英文教学不谈。因为当我讲说 there's offense, there's defense, there are special teams 的时候，你会觉得 special team 就是 a team that's very special, but it's not。它是一个很特殊的体育的术语嘛。那这些体育术语就是在发音跟拼字，我们刚谈过发音跟拼字嘛。以外，第三个最重要的区块就是文化嘛。我们都希望孩子将来是跟大家相谈甚欢，聊聊天嘛，至少可以聊一聊的。那刚刚那个 Leslie 唱的 Good morning， 我是不是 Good morning， How are you？ 那个东西我们有没有？我不知道。那我们有没有 football？ 有没有 St. Louis Cardinals？ 有没有？我不知道啊。那我们有没有 MISSPPA？ 我们有没有那个东西？我也不知道。可是我知道我们有的啊，我们有的可能就占据所有的时间了。我们有的就是所有的球类列出来考试 ，basketball、volleyball、tennis、soccer、dodgeball， 就一个一个，然后就开始考嘛。我们考的是一串一串的字，那些字本身又没有什么意义。好 ，Yeah, I'm not gonna translate that. So.
Well, like if you're talking football, the reason I dislike Brady is because I grew up in Indiana.
Right.
And we had a team in Indiana that we stole from Maryland.
The Colts?
Yeah, we stole it from Baltimore. Irsay moved them out of town at midnight in the back of a truck and moved them to Indianapolis. And for 16 years, Peyton Manning was the best quarterback in the NFL. Second best was Brady.
Okay. I'm going to pause you right there again because you're losing all of us.
I know.
他又在开始，你有没有看到他话匣子打开以后又开始讲了？我跟你讲，王建民他19岁，又怎样又这样？王建民住台南啊，王建民最喜欢吃那个叶家米粉，有没有？就开始，然后他会如数家珍，你们知道吗？那个如数家珍是我希望你们今天看到的，那你们目睹到就好了，我的目的达到就好。你们目睹了这件事情，那我们就把麦克风交给 Melanie, right? Let's yes. We'll talk football later. Over whiskey. Over whiskey.
No, I don't drink.
You drink beer. You drink Taiwan beer. Yes, okay.
Yeah, over beer is fine.
I was raised in the South. So if you want to talk in the South, I can give you a really good Southern accent.
哎，鼓掌，南方口音。
But my parents wouldn't let me speak. They wouldn't let us. We had to take voice and diction classes when I was a kid because the theory is that people who talk Southern are stupid. So when you say, "Hi, can I talk to the boss?" You're like, "Okay." Or, "How can I help you?" You're like, "You are dumb. You need to talk to the boss, somebody else."
Melanie, do you mind if we pause here because you just touched upon a subject that we've been discussing this morning, the politics of accents. Because 我们今天一直在谈的哦，就是我跟你说是有政治的，口音是非常非常有政治，而且那个政治放在心里面的。他说你有 Southern accent 的时候，人家就 assume you're dumb。这是一个 assumption， 这个 assumption is wrong yet true, right? It's there. It's wrong and it's there. The same thing applies to Japanese accents or Korean accents or British accents. 我们听到英国口音就是James Bond, right? He died. 我的意思就是我们这样在谈，你有没有看到这两个朋友？我上次讲这两个小朋友， 我差点说，我是说你们看到这两个小朋友 ，when they're talking about movies and James Bond and 007，他们就会很开心的聊嘛。那个东西到底是什么？为什么不能给自己的孩子聊那种东西吗？我不是说我们要去叫何家人啊、叫翰林他们把教科书都改掉，我不是这个意思啊。我是说可不可以100分里面挪出10分、20分的时间，来让孩子至少听过什么叫 James Bond， 听过就好了嘛。听到什么叫 Martini， 什么叫 Stirred Not Shaken， 什么叫做 Vesper， 就是那些听过就好了，也没有说真的要知道什么。就是说听到就好了，听过就好，这样。So anyway, please.
Okay, well, in America, we like British accents. So we're always mimicking the British. Because we want to sound like you.
Very
We want
poorly.
to sound like you.
Well, Australians okay too.
我们现在是一个那个
But we don't like the Canadian accent, which is based on the British accent. And the French, it's a blend of British and French. There was a man back in the 1960s. His name was Peter Jennings. He's from Vancouver. He came down to the United States, wanted to be a news broadcaster. And he went on ABC Nightly News. And within 6 weeks, he was fired. Because Americans complained about his accent.
Do you mind if I pause here? Peter Jennings 是非常非常有名的，有什么 CBS right？CBS ABC， 它是一个非常有名的，就3台了，垄断时期的3台的3大电视台之一的主播。然后他说，他从加拿大下来的时候，因为口音的关系，6个礼拜就被炒鱿鱼咯。你们想清楚啊，就是我们在谈的这个事情叫做，即使是北美洲的加拿大的口音，你要当主播台的时候，大家会歧视你的口音，歧视到严重到把你 fire 掉，这是一个哦。你想想看 ，Melanie 刚刚说的，你们如果没有 catch 到的话，她小时候去上正音班，你们知道吗？ You went to sound and diction class, right?
Which is what Peter Jennings did.
然后那个主播被 fire 掉，又去参加正音班。
He moved to Chicago. He learned the Midwest accent.
Please stop here because my country has heard about this mysterious accent. For me.
Midwest is what I have.
It's the one I got.
Midwestern. I mean, we have Midwestern accents, but you're like flat. They're not East Coast,
Can you give
West
me an
Coast.
example?
They've been giving the examples. You've been speaking in Midwestern.
Midwestern, not
Well,
Southern.
I speak Midwest now. So you had a hard time from where I was from because you couldn't tell if I went, oh, hi. You'd be like, oh, you're from the South.
It's like you
But
going
you
to
can't
Scotland.
tell where I'm from because the accent is Midwestern.
There's a name. There's a name for a Midwestern accent called the accentless accent. You can't tell where it's from. It's the generalized, standardized accent. 我刚刚在他们谈的就是中西部口音吗？你们都知道我的脸文上面，我公开的演讲都一直谈中西部口音的问题。我一直说中西部口音是一种叫做 standardized 口音，叫做 general 口音，叫做主播口音，它就叫做 newscasters 的口音啊，广播或主播的口音，因为它叫做 accentless accent， 就是没有口音的口音。然后就是 Melanie 的跟 Michael 的，他们的口音叫做没有口音的口音。可是有没有可能有口音？有啊 ，Melanie 马上可以表演给你看，她可以表演 Southern accent 出来吗？然后我一直跟我们台湾很可怜的民众，我一直讲，然后大家都不相信我。然后今天这2位等于是 saved my life because my own countrymen don't really believe what I've been telling them all these
Oh
years.
yeah, definitely. The Midwestern accent is the accepted accent. And after Peter Jennings spent 2 years in the Chicago diction class,
2 years.
2 years, he went on to work for ABC for 35 years.
You've got Boston accents, New York accents.
Right.
You can't have them on
Can't
national
have them on
television.
television.
Yeah, really, you can't have them. Would you want somebody from Glasgow giving you the news in London?
We have it. That's our problem.
我们
Believe me, yeah, that's our problem. So no one watches the news anymore because no one understands
I
it.
mean, have you ever heard Bernie Sanders speak? Bernie Sanders, he may
Speak
run for
sense. Did he
president.
speak sense? I've never heard him speak sense yet.
You haven't heard him speak a
It
sentence?
doesn't speak any sense. Sanders.
Well, I don't know about the sense part, but he's from the Northeast. Okay?
刚刚 Melanie 在谈的就是说，也有波士顿的口音，也有纽约的口音。Michael 马上就讲说，你这样绝对不能播新闻。然后马上就说，你难道希望一个有波士顿口音、纽约口音的人帮你播新闻吗？然后他们两个就一起摇头说，不可以，不可以，不可以啊！连波士顿、纽约的口音都不可以，不可以啊！因为它就是有一个偏某个地区性啊。它不是谁好谁坏的问题，它就是一个主流不主流的问题啊。没有人在歧视谁啊，没有人要跟钱过不去嘛。因为最多数的收听者，他习惯的那个口音，就是电视台的老板说，我的主播就是要操这种口音才可以。然后他刚刚就开始讲到说，你希不希望 Glasgow 的口音？然后
I can do an Glasgow accent.
然后他就说：“你难道希望 Glasgow 的口音在播新闻吗？”他说：“有啊，我们真的有啊，可是大家都听不懂。”所以 ，Thank you for clearing that up for me. I've been writing for over 15 years, talking about what you just said in 15 minutes. But they don't believe me; they will believe you because you look like you. You look like.
But surely there's accent differences in Taiwan between Taipei and Kaohsiung, say.
There are, yes.
So why don't they believe you?
They don't believe there's a standardized or general Midwestern accent.
But are your newsreaders all? Do they all have the same accent, or have they got different
In
accents?
Taiwan. Your newsreaders in Taiwan.
Newsreaders have the accentless accent.
I see. Yeah.
So, well, anyway, why don't you give us your favorite film list and then perhaps a few quotations, and then we'll wrap it up for this session.
Okay.
All right?
So I did not go to school to be a teacher. I spent 30 years in sales and marketing. And every now and then, when I've had enough of my students, I need to sell something. I'm like, I need to find someone to sell something to. Because teaching is not instant gratification. It's a long process. Where with sales, you make the sale, you go home, you keep going, you go to the next thing. It's fast, every day is different. It's not the same. So I don't have a toolbox of tools to pick from as a teacher.
Okay.
I can't pull into a teacher toolbox and pick something out because I don't have anything. I taught public speaking for 10 years for Toastmasters, so I'm able to pull that kind of information as far as being up front and teaching because I've been up front. My family was into music. I did radio and television when I was a kid. We sang. My parents are musicians. I'm a musician. I play the organ, the keyboard, and my youngest daughter is getting a master's in flute performance.
Where?
She's looking at Boston.
Okay.
So she's got another, I don't know, it depends on what schools are open
Okay.
and who's online and who's not online in America at the moment. So
Melody 的女儿是长笛演奏硕士，好厉害哦，音乐家哎。
So I have 3 kids, and my oldest just graduated with her master's in film as a film director. She's planning to come here and make her movie in May. She's been trying to do it since March, but with COVID, she can't get her crew in here. And my son was here for 2 years. We've been here for 5 years.
Can you pause there? So your daughter is bringing a crew in May to make a film.
She may end up just
In
having
Taiwan.
to use Taipei. There's a Canadian company in Taipei. There's a Taipei film company. Because movies are still running very well in Taiwan.
Right.
But she may not be able to get her crew in here. She can come in because she's related to me. But getting a crew in here with COVID, is tough.
Okay. What?
It's called Sun Moon. Amazingly.
There are 4 different spellings for that. 那日月潭。
My kids came with us. So my oldest was here for 1 year, and she also taught school.
Okay.
So her movie is about a foreign teacher coming to teach in Taiwan. And I said, who's the bad guy? She said, the language barrier is the bad guy. all the mistakes, all the faux pas, all the things that you do wrong, all the misunderstandings between students and teachers. That's where which you have to overcome when you're here. So it's her story of a teacher coming in.
Wow.
And so she wants to.
And it's called Sun Moon.
It's called Sun Moon.
Okay. Where's the barrier?
Her language barrier.
I know, but between sun and moon?
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. Let's ask her. Let's ask her.
Between students and
Okay.
teachers,
Okay.
misunderstandings
Okay.
that occur. And my son's got a minor in Chinese. He lived here with us for 2 years. He took 2 years of Chinese. So now he's back getting a history degree and wants to come back to Taiwan next year and get a master's in Asian history. Because you can get a master's here in English, but not an undergrad. Undergraduate's in Chinese. And so you can speak it, but if you can't write it, you can't go to college. And you need to be able to write. Even if you can speak it, you can't write papers.
Okay.
You can't write in Chinese.
Right. 他的儿子在台湾要念硕士，研究亚洲历史，可是不能在台湾念学士，因为在台湾念学士要用中文写字，就是我早上在上面写那个文的概念呢，都会讲啊，都会讲，可是碰到写就没有办法，所以不能有 undergraduate， 可是可以有 graduate degree， 因为可以用英文写论文了，这样子。
So I currently teach school at Sanyu with Leslie in the mornings. And then I teach at National Chinan University in the afternoons. I've also taught at Dongguang Elementary, Mingtan Junior High, Yuchi Elementary. So at one point I had 5 schools. And I also have Chinan High School at night. So I teach from 6 to 8:30 at Chinan High School. So right now I have 2 schools, and then I fit Dongguang in elementary, and we sing, hello, hello, how are you? There's a big difference between hello, hello, how are you on Wednesday, and then I go to Chinan University, and they're all English majors, and we can talk. So the teaching is from none all the way up to we can have a regular conversation.
Right.
So in one day, I'm going, this is a cat, this is a, which we never, not really, but cat, dog, to regular English, so.
Right. Well, let's take a break here. 我们休息好不好？15分钟后再回来哈。我们替那个外国的朋友鼓掌，非常精彩的论坛呢。
Oh, I have to say I love Lord of the Rings. That's my favorite.
Great.
What was my favorite movie?
Yeah, okay. All right.
Written by an Englishman.
我们先休息一下吧，哈，15分钟回来。
And Narnia.
Yeah, we got Narnia.
各位老师好啊。好，没关系。我们又回到我们的那个这个 panel 啊。然后我们表定的下一个单元就是要听他们讲一些 suggestions。然后其实英国 Michael 其实刚刚有提到说啊 ，he's open to questions if you have any 任何的问题啊，不局限在英语教学，甚至不局限在这一次的这个主题啦，他是非常开放的，想要跟大家交流，所以如果你们有要问他事情的话，其实现在也 would be a good time。有吗？有要问他？所以你如果突然想到的话，他们都可以 open for questions 啊，其实好不好？有想到就让我知道一下。好，那如果是没有问题的话，我们就开始往 suggestions 那边去啦。我都跟他们解释过了，所以他们就会this direction or the other way around? Sure.
No,
We're going to make suggestions. Yeah.
Hello. 哦，那个需要换电池。
Battery died.
Yeah, battery died.
Maybe.
Oh, so.
It's one of his battery.
Suggestions for Taiwan.
Yes.
Yes. When you're driving, try to use your mirrors. Try to use your mirrors. Yeah?
No. Try to look straight ahead, because I'm walking towards you.
这个还是在
Use your blinker.
Yeah, the
Yeah, that's
Blinker.
another thing, yeah.
Not after you've already turned.
That's right.
To give us a clue that you're going to turn.
That's right, yeah. And try not to look at your text messages when you're going at 70 miles an hour down the freeway.
那个外国朋友非常担心我们交通安全。我们开时速200公里的时候，可以不要再滑手机吗？这是一种。Melanie 说可以记得打灯吗？Michael 其实是说 ，Please look in your mirror， 你要看一下后照镜啦。好。
How many of you drive a car? Can you put your hands up and drive?
开车的举手。哦。
Who drives a car? Why are you still alive?
Because they're the ones who do it.
Not why, how?
They're driving tanks. No, but I wanted to talk about one specific thing about the Taiwan road system, and that is roundabouts. At roundabouts, in England, what we do is we stop on the junction and wait for the traffic that's already on the roundabout to pass. You don't. You take one or the other. You don't know what to do. So on your driving test, I don't know what they teach you on your driving test, but they do not involve roundabouts. The evidence is there. Do they? Do they teach you how to drive on a roundabout? No, is the answer from the back there. Fantastic. So really, it's like being at a fairground ride in the UK. No one knows what they're doing. So one minute one will stop at the junction, and then another minute someone will just completely go across the junction even though there's a car coming on the roundabout. It's just incredible. But luckily there's only about, I've heard, there's only about 4 roundabouts in Taiwan. I understand why now.
There's 2 of them in Pullman.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Honestly? Well, that's the other 2 then.
The other.
That's 3. Where's the other one? I don't know. Yeah.
所以应该是
I mean, can I just ask someone? When they get to a roundabout, what do you do? If there's cars already on the roundabout, what do you do?
You move in.
They just go.
Yeah, but I'm asking them that. I'm asking them. What do you do? Have you been taught to go straight on? Or have you been taught to stop at the junction? Or have you been taught anything? Now, there's a suggestion to the Transport Ministry to get that sorted out quick.
I have a question. In America, we have a rule that says pedestrian, the walker, has the right-of-way, especially in a crosswalk.
Yes, that's right.
2 months ago, I was in the crosswalk, walking with the light, and got hit by a truck. Because my army instincts told me to twirl off. So I rolled off the front of the truck, landed on the ground with my elbow rather than my head. So I wasn't hurt. But a truck was trying to beat a car through the intersection and went to the police station.
Going through a red light.
Police, no, he was going a green light, but he was turning left. He was turning left onto Zhongshan Road. I was crossing at Zhonghua with the light near the 7-Eleven, and all of a sudden I see a truck coming out of my peripheral vision, and I left a good dent in the front of that truck.
Wow.
But the police told me I was in the right.
Yeah.
I waited for the light to change to green. I started to cross. I looked both ways, got 3/4 of the way around, and there's a car coming from the south, car coming from the north, and the car from the north wanted to turn left in a hurry.
所以应该是这样说了哈，我们台湾的交通让外国朋友心胆战心惊的。But if we could shift the focus from the Ministry of transportation to the Ministry of Education. What suggestions do you have for the English education?
What I find is we have an issue with critical thinking skills. There aren't any.
That's Asia.
There are not any critical thinking skills.
That's Asia-wide. That's China, that's Korea.
So my kids will say,
Japan.
my kids will tell me, teacher, tell me what you want, and I'll give you what you ask. Well, I know we don't teach for memorization. We teach for mastery of a concept. And what I find is when you've got memorization, they cannot connect the dots. So it's like we build on information. You learn this, and then you learn this, and then when you take this one and go, oh, that should apply to this. That we are really, so what we're teaching besides English is some critical thinking skills. Why do you think this? Where's your point? Give me a cause and effect. What is the effect? What is the cause? Where can you back up what you say without memorization? So we teach we find is that they're taught to the test, that they're taught to memorize for the test, but there's no, for example, I was at Dongguan Elementary and we were playing a game. We had to do, it was Uno, but it had to be in order. And it had to be 1 through 12. And if you didn't have a 1, you had to draw a card. And the next person, and you're trying to get the point is you're supposed to get numbers 1 through 12. And they were helping each other. I have a 4. I have a 4. Here, you can have my 4. I'm going, wait. I said, you're supposed to go around and you're supposed to do 1. I don't have a 1, draw a card. Oh, I have a 1, okay. And then there's no strategy. So then I said, we're going to play bingo. Give me an English word. So we had to put all their English words. I gave them English words. And they had to give me an English word and give me a number. So I gave them a blank. Okay, blank, where you put in 1 to 40. And then you could say 2 and give me a word. Somebody across the room is going, tell her 3, tell her 3. No, bingo, you're supposed to be the first person to get the line. But they're helping each other like, hey, tell her 3. You know, okay, they're like, okay, 3. You just helped him win. And I realized, okay,
They don't look at their paper.
They don't
look at their own paper.
There's no strategy. There's no critical thinking skills going on. And so they're learning the English, but it was kind of an eye-opener for us that there's different learning. They learn differently here than how we teach. So we teach for critical thinking,
Okay.
but they're used to memorization. And so,
I've taught in 3 Asian schools. I taught in middle school in Korea. I taught junior high school, middle school in Korea. I taught adults in Korea. I taught adults and kids in China, Shanghai, China. Taught in Taoyuan and now here. What I've seen in almost 15 years is that the way Asians learn is they study, they write. They read, they write what they read. Then they take a test. Then they go into the bathroom, they hold their head over the sink, they turn this ear, and everything they learned runs out this ear and down the sink. Because they don't need it anymore. They passed the test. Okay? What I did this last semester here was we had 3 oral tests that covered, first 2 covered 2 subjects, the first set test covered 2 subjects, second test covered 2 subjects, the third test covered all 4 subjects. So they had to remember from the very first week of school, are you tall or are you short? Do you wear glasses? When is American Thanksgiving? When is Halloween? Those kind of questions. They were taught those questions. They were drilled on those questions. They did fairly well on the tests because I brought it into the classroom. And for bingo, I didn't let them pick the words. I played bingo for Halloween. And there's a Wheel of Names game on the internet where you put the words in, you have the bingo cards, and it randomly does it. And they have to pay attention. And they have to recognize the word. That's one way to force them into retention.
So, in addition to critical thinking and retention, what are your thoughts on pronunciation and spelling?
You do the spelling. I'll do the, something about COVID. Okay. I have no idea with the masks, what they're saying. I tell them I will not teach with a mask up front. They need to see my mouth. And I need to see their mouth. So when I'm walking and they're looking for, is it fox, box? You know, there's a big difference between f, and v. What am I saying? They need to see f, v. And I'm like, this just doesn't work. And so I make my kids get up front and take the mask down, say what they're going to say. I need to see their mouth. I know this is not necessarily, it's just when you're doing pronunciation and speaking, all I hear from them is, what's on, teacher? I'm like, what are you saying? So it's COVID has complicated learning English for me as the teacher and for the student, who they're sitting in the classroom and I like pull it down, then put it back, so I can. And I know dealing with pronunciation, this is a problem for learning English, and even if it's in Chinese, we need to see each other's mouth and face when we're communicating. We don't realize when you put it up how much you lose in communicating without it. All I see, half the students, I don't know their names. All I have is their eyes. So if I go to a new school, I'm sorry, I can't tell. You pull it down, I'm like, oh, that's what you look like? I've never seen it. And so I'm like, it presents a barrier for learning, for me anyway.
When you teach pronunciation and they can't reproduce the correct sounds, what do you do? What tools do you have? Just repeating after you, or do you draw a picture, or give them a mirror, or repetition?
I make them form the correct mouth shape.
Do you draw it, or do you draw the mouth shape, or do you let them see?
No. Lips.
Imitation.
My students have a big problem with the word they. They all say lay. Yeah? Lay. And the is le. It's like French. You know? They have a big problem with TH.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
The classic Chinese mispronunciation is an R. They don't say R's very well.
Okay.
That's common knowledge, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. No,
So now we have number one problem is right? Sticking out your tongue between your teeth. And then number two problem is curling up your tongue, right? R. The.
They want to move their tongue when they're saying R.
You need the microphone, please.
They want to move their tongue when they're saying R.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't move your tongue when you're saying R. It lays in your mouth.
So that's it, yeah.
Okay? If you move it at all, you get an L sound.
Yeah.
That's why the big jokes during
Yeah.
Jerry Lewis's day. Fried rice.
That's it.
Right. 这个我解释一下，就是美国的喜剧以前很歧视亚洲口音的时候会讲 fried rice， 就是炒饭嘛 ，fried rice 就会讲 fly lice 这样子 ，fly lice，fly 是那个嘛苍蝇嘛 ，lice 是那个跳蚤嘛。
So what I've found to do is model it. Walk up to them and show them. R, R, R. Tongue's not moving.
Okay.
La, la. Yeah,
But Michael, how many students do you have?
Pardon me?
How many students do you have in a class?
Between 25 and 30.
Wow. So you have to.
Move. I don't sit down.
You run around the classroom.
I never sit down.
To each desk.
I move around the classroom constantly.
Each desk.
Sometimes the director will come in. Where's Michael? Oh, over by the desk. Or the principal would be looking in the window and I'm at a student's desk.
Showing him your mouth.
Exactly.
Without the mask. It's so illegal.
No. It is not illegal not to wear masks in the elementary and middle schools. That is an exempted policy. Yes. Yeah, when they put the new rules in December the 1st, they exempted secondary schools.
But let's say the first student couldn't. Suppose the first student couldn't do the right, and you demonstrate for him, and he gets it. So you move on to the second student, and then once you finish,
Then they all do it
okay,
in unison.
and then is it possible or does it happen when you move on to the 15th?
Because when it comes into the unison part, then the kids' ears, because so many kids have been doing it, and they've been hearing the incorrect, they've been hearing the correct, that if they hear the incorrect, oh, he can it. La 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 la, la 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 la. They correct each other. They use peer pressure to help each other correct each other. But it takes modeling on the teacher's part and a sense of humor. I mean, my background, other than military and all that, I went to school to be an English teacher. I was an English teacher in America.
Okay.
Okay, in American junior high school. I worked 6.5 years in a prison. Prison is safer. But you have to model the behavior with a sense of humor. If you get angry, especially in Asia, they lock down. If you raise your voice, they shut down.
What do you do with the students who forget how to pronounce a certain word?
You mean in the same period?
Yes, or after.
You just continually repeat it. I mean, it's,
But what about lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4? To go back to the lesson?
I don't go back,
Okay.
but the teachers who teach them on a daily basis
Mm-hmm.
know what I've been teaching, and they work on that also.
Okay. So what would you say from, let's say, 1 to 10, pronunciation-wise? Your level of satisfaction, or from 1 to 10, your students?
Well,
How?
it depends on which school.
Okay.
We found out that if you start them in elementary school
Mm-hmm.
and they like English,
Mhm.
they do very well
Okay.
in junior high. If you start them in junior high, now we've got, I don't want to be embarrassed, I don't want to talk, I don't want to do anything. It's a totally different attitude all the way around in junior high. Then
Okay.
I have senior high, I don't have any problems. It's mostly junior high where you have the problem of, I don't want to speak, I don't want to even try it, I don't want to do anything about it, I don't want to play any games, I don't want to run up and down the hall and do any fun games, they don't want to do anything. So no matter what you plan that's fun to do, they don't want to do anything. So grade school, up and down, sing, have games, yay, high school, fine, junior high. Nothing is fun. I'm like, I just want you to draw a snake. Nothing difficult, but it's a totally different. Their mindset is totally different than all the other schools. That level of teaching requires a little more.
So besides modeling,
When you say draw a snake, do they draw a bag of potato chips? Because they pronounce snake, snack. And they pronounce snack, snake.
This is true.
I went to a training, you were there. The teacher of the training kept saying snack, keep saying snack, keep saying snack. And then she shows up this PPT and there's a snake on the wall. Okay.
Different snack.
A different snack.
right there, that's one of our creations. Snack and snake.
Snack and snake, yeah. Yeah. Big difference between the two.
Yeah.
How?
Also,
Sorry.
What tools do you have to teach them the difference between snake and snack? What tools do you have besides modeling
Pictures,
of?
snack and snake.
Okay, but that's not.
I need pictures when we
Pictures.
teach students.
When you show them a picture of a snake and a picture of a snack, they know what it is, but they don't know the difference between the sounds snake and snack. My question is, what tools do you have in addition to demonstrating or modeling in front of them to let them see snake, right, and then snack? But you have to do that 25 to 30 times.
That's okay.
But that's just one word.
We learn English one word at a time.
Okay.
I mean, I had a soldier whenever I was in the Army
Okay.
came in and asked if I had any books. And I happened to have a novel that was about 400 pages. And he said, "Oh, that's too long to read." I said, "Are you going to read more than one page at a time?" I mean, he had nothing to do but kill time.
It's not just one word. I give them all the A words. We have a whole sheet of long A words that they do. And so it's not just a snake. And then we have a whole sheet that has A. And then we do, okay, am I saying snack or snake? So you give them a whole worksheet of A, and then we give them a whole worksheet of A.
When you tell them there is a whole worksheet of ah, right? And they look at your lips and they look at your mouth, do you find students not being able to replicate your sound?
Yes.
What do you do then?
Just keep, same as Chinese. I just keep going, huh?
The only one I've had
Right.
trouble with
Right.
was
Over and over
the
again.
THL. The only one I've had trouble with
TH.
is the THL.
The difference between
They and lay.
they and lay.
Because Fujian
So common.
and Anhui province, both of those in China have that problem. And a lot of the people in Taiwan came here from Fujian. And they brought the problem with them.
Okay.
Okay? I have not found a way to cure that
The
in
problem.
in children or
Okay.
in adults.
Is it possible for them to keep going
It depends on what you want out of the students.
Okay.
Do you want comprehension, or do you want perfect grammar and perfect pronunciation? So sometimes it may not be perfect, but can you say in a sentence what you want?
Yeah, as long as it's
I'm not looking for exact
Pronunciation is
perfection.
understanding.
If they don't understand, if they understand what I'm saying and they get it a little bit wrong, that's okay. I'm looking for comprehension. I'm looking for, you'll master it as you go. But if you sit forever until I get Yuchi right, over and over, Yuchi, I can do that for, I'm going to get it wrong tomorrow.
There's loads of English people that get it.
And so I'm like, but the point is that the comprehension is, pretty soon you know what I'm saying. It may not be perfect, but I'm looking for eventually, can you say a sentence? I have a pet. My pet's name is. Can you, and it may not be that they said pet, I understand what they want and I'm working on it. But my goal isn't to go over it until they go, I don't want to go to her class anymore.
So am I correct in assuming that we have a consensus that we're not asking for perfect pronunciation, but we are asking for understanding?
Yes, perfect understanding.
Let's not misunderstand each other.
One thing I will always say, stop saying practice makes perfect. Because it doesn't. Perfect practice makes perfect. Imperfect practice makes imperfect.
Yeah.
My wife is Korean. The first 6 years I knew her, this was a pinger. Wasn't a finger, it was a pinger.
I'm going to use that from now on.
One time I was in the car and I saw that we were coming up to a turn light. And I said, "Oh, there's a turn light." She goes, "No, it's a left turn." She thought I was saying turn right. Turn light. No, turn left. I said, "No, it's a turn light."
Oh, well, you have that when you're on the scooter and you go under a branch.
In a car.
No, when you're on the scooter and you go under a branch and you say duck, and they say where?
They're looking for the animal. It's a dog.
You're all giving us examples of misunderstandings, right? As jokes, misunderstandings, just like the snake and snack.
Can I just
Right?
say that
Yes.
conversational English, if you went to England and used the English that you were taught here, no one would understand you.
Can you repeat that? I would like my whole country to hear that.
Conversational English in England is very different to what you are taught in the schools here. It's just very different.
But what do you say?
say? For example, I'll give you an example. I was here yesterday. I was here yesterday.
Okay.
That's what we say.
Mhm.
It's completely different. I was here yesterday. That's how we say it. We don't say I was here yesterday. We don't pronounce everything perfectly. It doesn't exist. So I understand that this way of teaching perfect English is the baseline, but in actual sense, no one really speaks that. No one says it like that in England.
Right.
And I'm
problem.
trying my damnedest now to speak as perfect English as possible. But if you were an English audience, I would be speaking very differently.
Right.
Yeah.
We try to teach written English as spoken English. And that's a mistake. Spoken English is not written English.
Yeah.
They're different.
What do you suggest we change?
That's what I was trying to say, actually.
Conversation.
Conversation.
Get away from... I don't do any textbook at this school. This is probably the best school I've ever taught in. And I say that even though I know the director might be sitting up there. Okay? It is because I'm allowed to teach what... My class is not called English class.
Right.
It's called life English.
Yes, that's what I do.
Okay.
I teach them the English of life.
Yeah. Street English.
Sure, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This requires teaching them some idioms,
Yeah.
which we use. I go in the classroom, it's great fun, and I'll say, they don't understand Western humor, number one. We use sarcasm, irony, other types of things. But I'll come in and say, "Oh, you have a green thumb." And they're like, no, teacher, it's not green. Okay, it's raining cats and dogs.
I stepped in a poodle.
It's just, so much of English is not translatable into Chinese. I'm saying one thing and I'm meaning something else. So I'll come in the room and I'll go, "You guys are being so quiet today. What is wrong with you?" And they're like, "Yeah, what's wrong with us? It's a joke. Nothing's wrong with you. You're just being quiet today." So, it's just that I can't translate some of the things we say. "Oh, this is easy as cake. This is easy as pie." They're like, "Huh?" And so it's just conversational English. So I start out with just some simple things every now and then, learning idioms of color. I'm white as a sheet. Just, something. We don't realize how much what we say and what we mean are two different things. And so like life English, conversational English, what are you actually going to use? What are you going to do? But like you said, writing is totally different altogether than speaking.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
So perhaps this would be a good time for us to move from pronunciation to spelling. What are your thoughts on that?
She's the spelling queen.
Not really. 'Cause I practice my students to spell simple words like color, blue, purple, pink. Because they don't know the difference between T and D,
Okay.
between K and G, between P and B and P. For them, it's totally the same, like the D and T.
Mhm.
So when I say tank, I need to say tank. So like an OA, we call it OA in the Philippines. Like if you're an English teacher and you're teaching pronunciation and spelling, you need to be OA, like overact it. So yeah, so you need to be T and D. So the information you deliver to the students is like, if not the same as what you are saying, at least not as low as they can get. So especially the B and P, you need to be B. It does not, if you have this paper, when you say B, it doesn't move, but when you say P, it should move. Yeah, but for Taiwanese kids, they're all the same. The B and P,
Right.
the D and T. So it's quite hard for
Well,
them to...
how about this? Can I give you guys a common question? If your kids spelled cat, K-A-T, what grade does she have to, or he has to be in for you to grant them the 2 points? Let's say if she was 4 years old and she spells it. 4 years old is fine, right?
Yep.
5?
And even elementary school. I don't care if they get the sound K and they put a C or a K, I don't care.
Sixth grade.
All I want is the K.
What about 6th grade? Can you do that? Would you do that?
What do we have, 7th?
You don't have 7 for colors or animals.
7th and 8th.
7th and 8th is probably the cutoff point, right? What about you?
I wouldn't teach it.
Yeah. You wouldn't even give it a test.
How often do we spell in life?
No, you can do spelling like once a week or once in 2 weeks.
No. That's the English teacher's job. That's the Taiwan English teacher's job.
That's the problem. They don't do spelling here.
Yep, they did in Taoyuan. They did spelling in Taoyuan. And because the teachers wanted me to help with the spelling and the grammar, I got in trouble with the Taoyuan Ministry of Education. They wanted me to do Reader's Theater. Well, I couldn't figure out a way to do Reader's Theater with 24 classes, seeing them once every 2 weeks. So I did what my teachers wanted. I'm no longer in Taoyuan. And it's not all because of my age.
Mm-hmm.
So here, I teach what I want to teach, and spelling's not one of the things. Not my strong point. Although I can spell necessary.
What about you, Michael? If your students spelled cat, K-A-T.
Again, I take his viewpoint as being mine. That's my viewpoint
Okay.
as well. Yeah, he's right. Absolutely.
But you do realize that the children in my country are living this nightmare
Right.
of being
because
tested on.
They're getting tested on
Yes,
everything.
yes.
Okay? When I do an oral test, I ask a question. If they can give me a sentence, I don't even care if the subject and verb are in the right order. If they have a subject, a verb, an object, they get a point. If I say, what's your favorite color? Red is my favorite color. Okay, point. My favorite color is red. It's a point. Red, no point.
Again, we're looking for conversation.
Conversation and
more than we're
understanding.
looking for an understanding, more than we're looking for whapping them for doing something wrong. Otherwise, they'll quit speaking
Exactly. So
altogether.
when they go to England or America, they'll be more understood. Yeah, I
Okay.
agree. The way that we're doing, the way that we are teaching, is we are teaching them as if they are going to England or America next week and be able to talk to someone.
Okay.
Not textbook English. It's rubbish. I told you that before.
The textbook is for the test.
Yeah.
Okay?
So-
I'm not interested in the test.
So what suggestions, if any, would you give
For
us?
the test, I teach them how to take the test. There are tricks for taking a test. You can pass a test and not know anything about it with a C.
Yeah.
If you know how to take a test. So I tell my
If
kids,
it's A, B, C, and D, pick the longest one, or C.
No, I said, look, when I tell them you're reading for your test for comprehension, read the questions first. Don't read the paragraph. Find out what they want to know. Look for a key word. There it is. Because what's happening is they're not getting done in the time limit. Most of them can get it, but they're not making it in the time limit because they're spending too long. Something else? Funny. They think they have to answer number 1 first.
Yes.
I'm like, what? You skip around. Do you know number 10? Like, no, teacher. What about number 1? I said, skip number 1. Answer the ones you know. They cannot. They must go in order. And I'm going, okay, you got what is number 5? Like, oh, we skipped number 5. And then we get down to number 9. We have 1 left. And they go, what's the answer? I'm like, you only have 1 choice left. Pick it. I don't care if you don't know what it means. It's the only option you have. If you've gotten 1 through 9 and you've got 1 left. And I'm like, I don't know why that's so interesting to me. I'm like, answer the ones you know first. This is like over their head.
Or if you're reviewing a test, I found in Asia, all of Asia, if you're reviewing a test and you're going around the room getting answers, they'll sit there and they say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, number 7, number 7. Mm-hmm. Get the answer to number 7. So you skip around. Oh, dude. Number 3. Oh, number 7. Oh. They don't listen.
They don't follow instructions.
Can I make another suggestion?
Sure, please.
Is there any chance that you can stop putting sugar in sausages?
We're moving to the Ministry of Health. This would be a good time for us to take our final break. 那个，因为我们4点钟是表定嘛，对不对？我们就现在是快要30嘛，好，我们40分的时候，因为还是有那个上厕所的那个40分的时候回来，好不好？我就请他们念一下字给我们听，然后那个研习就画下尾声，这样我们替外国朋友鼓掌好吗？Break till 40. Right. 好啦，各位现场的老师，大家好啊！我们到了这一次2天研习的尾声啊。哦，你看他们聊开了，大家都聊开了。让我们大家说 Hi guys， 你们就跟我说 Hi when， 然后我们大声你就把他们吓到，他们就会那个了，好不好？试看看哈 ，Hi guys。This is 这个更大声。Our session has officially begun. Get with the program. 我们跟外师会尽地主之谊，等一下结束以后会跟他们去喝小酒、聊聊天、吃小东西，因为我很希望让南投翻转啊。那这4位我非常非常的喜爱啊。其实南投真正的法定的外师也不多，对不对？所以5位嘛，好像还是什么8位是吗？申请多少？5位吗？所以我们其实是我们在看南投的外师了啦。那所以我很希望那个搞定他们。我要搞定他们，对不对？没有啦，真的就是好好的让他们了解我们希望什么啊？你们刚刚这样听，虽然他们的语速很快啊，文化差距很大，然后他们会歪楼吗？那是我想让你们看到的啦。2天的研习能够解决70年的问题是个谎话了。可是你们可以看到一点点的曙光，就是他们刚刚谈到的问题，就是我们一直在讲的事情。然后我们这一端呢是有盲点的嘛？我们这一端有盲点，是我这1天半来在谈的。可是我更想让你们看到，我的左边这一端盲点不会比这边少，你们知道吗？如果你刚刚都几乎听得懂他们在说的话，两边的盲点几乎是一样多的。可是几乎在鸡同鸭讲。以发音为例，英国的 Michael 在谈，他觉得孩子给他最大的困扰是 the 跟 le 没有办法分辨出来，清楚说出来。 他认为很严重的第一个直觉就说 the 很难的那个问题，到了这边会变成 snake 跟 snack， 还记得吗？单纯的吐舌音跟单纯的 a 跟 a 的音，我们这1天半的研习已经证明了一次又一次说，你们昨天看到我花20分钟，小男生就念 three 咯。然后我刚刚示范说 van 的时候，他们4个人会没有反应，是因为他们不知道他们在听什么东西 ，which is perfectly fine， 对不对？他本来就不知道有这个系统嘛，他们无感反而更证明了这个方法连外师都不知道。我一直问他们一个关键字叫做 Do you have any other tools？ 工具到底是什么嘛？很感人的25到30个孩子，你一个一个示范，这很感人啊。你要碰到这种外师是烧香才碰得到这种外师啊。可是你知我知天知地知，他们外师不知的是，你绕完25次以后，孩子第2天就打回原形了嘛。然后你有没有发觉他们没有再谈这个问题了，就跳到他说的 critical thinking 了，就在飞咯。我们吐舌头是在地上爬嘛， snake snack 是在走路嘛， critical thinking 是在济南大学才会教的那一种东西了，就飞咯。然后开始 Michael 会谈到 subject verb object， 开始谈不是飞，至少是跳跟跑了嘛。所以你会发现他们不是不知道爬的问题，不是不知道爬的问题，只是不能解决爬的问题啊，因为没有工具嘛，连口罩罩住就完蛋了嘛，对不对？就没有办法解决。刚刚好，是不是我们这2天的研习我提出来的东西刚刚好，是不是把有没有就是一拜，它刚刚好解决了我们这边的盲点 and 那边的盲点，两边刚刚好了嘛。然后他们说的一些其实是例如 textbooks are rubbish, right? You got my vote. 这种东西话送这又变成这边的盲点了。话送嘛，就是我们是哪根葱啊？敢跟台湾政府、台湾社会说，教科书都是垃圾，我们不可能这样做。所以我是不是又在中间妥协了？我说，那我来弄一些比较精致的、比较有中英人文素养的那种东西来当 textbook。我不能说 textbook 是垃圾就算了，那我来弄一个比较不像垃圾的教科书吗？好不好？那所以我会帮各位 and 帮南投县的孩子等一下去灌醉，没有啦，就是我想好好的跟他们交流啦。刚刚那样真的只是牛刀小事，我想就讲的我也不介意公开讲啊。我想称这4位外师的斤两啊，也让他们称我的斤两嘛。我想要知道到底负责南投县的外师是什么样的背景，然后我认为我们南投非常非常有福报啊。这样的外师是超强的外师啊，好不好？所以我们先替外师们鼓掌，好不好？ I said all good things about you guys. They're all good. Yeah, right.
Just one word you said.
So, could you guys do me a favor and turn around? 先听那个吧，好不好？ Let's listen to this little girl for about 90 seconds.
The world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. Starlight, star bright. First star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might get the wish I wish tonight. Teddy bear, turn around. Teddy bear, touch the ground. Teddy bear, pick up your shoe. Teddy bear, that will do. Teddy bear, go upstairs. Teddy bear, say your prayers. Teddy bear, blow out the light. Teddy bear, say good night. I'm a gold lock, I'm a gold key. I'm a silver lock, I'm a silver key. I'm a copper lock, I'm a copper key. I'm a dawn lock, I'm a donkey. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had the great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Good night, sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Marry her, the little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Marry her, the little lamb. Yes, fleece as white as snow. Baa, baa, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, 3 bags full. One for the master, one for the dame, and one for the little boy who lives down the lane. Rock-a-bye baby in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bell breaks, the cradle will fall. And then will come baby, cradle and all. Oh, have you seen the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man? Oh, have you seen the Muffin Man that lives on Drury Lane? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life was but a dream. An apple a day sends the doctor away. Apple in the morning, doctor's warning. Roast apple at night, starves the doctor outright. Eat an apple going to bed, knock the doctor on the head. 3 each day, 7 days a week. Rosy apple, rosy cheek. Me, myself, and I, we went to the kitchen and ate a pie. Then my mother, she came in and chased us out with a rolling pin. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here's my handle, here's my spout. When the kettle's boiling, hear me shout. Tip me up, pour me out.
停一下好不好 Can we give her a round of applause? 鼓掌啊，鼓掌啊！我们开灯好不好 Would you mind turning around?
Well, it's
Yes.
like 600 grams is 1 kilogram in Taiwan.
Yes.
Well, it's 90 seconds, 4 hours.
I know.
10 minutes of that?
She memorized 42 nursery rhymes in a row. She's 8 years old. What do you think of her pronunciation?
That's a 9.
Please.
It's great. Good pronunciation. As far as the pronunciation goes, but no one talks da 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 da. So as far as pronunciation, the pronunciation was excellent.
As she went along, though, it went downhill.
Okay.
I mean, is she a donkey or?
Yeah, donkey. I heard D-O. It was donkey.
And she's a little bit young to be a heroin addict as well, Wen.
What?
A little bit young to be a heroin addict. She said she was a junkie at one stage.
Yeah, some of
Okay.
I think she was trying to say gold key.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah, she said
Yeah,
I'm a
gold.
junkie and then silver key.
I've not
Okay.
heard that rhyme before, so I don't know.
You've never heard of that rhyme, right? What about the and the part that you were talking about? Do you think she Nailed that.
She did, toward the end, she was missing the L sound.
Okay.
She was missing a lot of starting sounds,
Okay.
which is amazing to me because most of my students lose endings,
Okay.
not beginnings.
But a lot of English people at that age do as well, though, Michael. They do in England.
I've never been around that age. I would go crazy around children that age. I'm doing fifth graders over here, and it's challenging.
Okay. You know what? That's perfect. Now let's go on to the ending part. I would like for you to read for us a very short story. Well, let's start with the easy one first, and then.
Who, me first?
Well, yeah, sure. How about Michael? You do the yes, please.
A mouse, a cheese, a mouse and a cheese. A cheese and a mouse. The mouse was hungry, nothing to eat. The cheese was there, nowhere to go.
There's more.
The mouse saw the cheese saw the mouse. They saw each other, one ate the other. Happily ever after, happily in each other.
Thank you. Melanie， 再念一次好不好？同一个吗？好。
A mouse, a cheese, a mouse and a cheese and a mouse. The mouse was hungry, nothing to eat. The cheese was there, nowhere to go. The mouse saw the cheese saw the mouse. They saw each other, one ate the other. Happily ever after, happily in each other.
Good, very good. Thank you. 我们用难的那个好不好？ It was practiced. She had a head start. Now you can have that head start. Why don't you read the extended version of this?
Once upon a time, in a land which is far, far away, there lived among others, like rats, cats, and bats, a mouse. At just about the same time, in a land that is not so far away from this land, there lived, among others, like cakes, crackers, and cameras, a cheese. So there you have it, a mouse and a cheese. Or, if you're into that whole alphabetical order thingy, a cheese and a mouse. Anyway, one day, after Lord knows how long of starvation, the mouse was hungry. He looked and searched and failed and had nothing to eat. By the way, on that same day, after Lord knows how long of meditation, the cheese was there. It sat and breathed and aged and had nowhere to go. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the mouse saw the cheese. Unfortunately, out of curiosity, the cheese saw the mouse. Subsequently, out of logicality, they saw each other. Ultimately, out of necessity, one ate the other. And so we have it. A hungry mouse and an aging cheese lived happily ever after. In fact, till this day, it remains a mystery in what exact fashion they managed to live happily in each other.
Woo! That was perfect. Good job. Michael, would you like to take a crack at it? Sure. Reader's Theater.
Once upon a time, in a land which was far, far away, there lived among others, like rats, cats, and bats, a mouse. At just about the same time, in a land that was not so far away from this land, there lived among others, like cakes, crackers, and cameras, a cheese. So there you have it, a mouse and a cheese. Or, if you're into that whole alphabetical order thingy, a cheese and a mouse. Anyway, one day after Lord knows how long of starvation, the mouse was hungry. He looked and searched and failed and had nothing to eat. By the way, on that same day, after Lord knows how long of meditation, the cheese was there. It sat and breathed and aged and had nowhere to go. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the mouse saw the cheese. Unfortunately, out of curiosity, the cheese saw the mouse. Subsequently, out of logicality, they saw each other. Ultimately, Out of necessity, one ate the other. And so we have it. A hungry mouse and an aging cheese lived happily ever after. In fact, till this day, it remains a mystery in what exact fashion they managed to live happily in each other.
鼓掌。Leslie, would you like to try?
Sure. I'm not pressured. Okay. Once upon a time, in a land which is far, far away, there lived, among others, like rats, cats, and bats, a mouse. At just about the same time, in a land that is not so far away from this land, there lived, among others, like cakes, crackers, and cameras, a cheese. So there you have it, a mouse and a cheese. Or, if you're into this whole alphabetical order thingy, a cheese and a mouse. Anyway, one day, after Lord knows how long of starvation, the mouse was hungry. He looked and searched and failed and had nothing to eat. By the way, on that same day, after Lord knows how long of meditation, the cheese was there. It sat and breathed and aged and had nowhere to go. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the mouse saw the cheese. Unfortunately, out of curiosity, the cheese saw the mouse. Subsequently, out of logicality, they saw each other. Ultimately, out of necessity, one ate the other. And so we have it. A hungry mouse and an aging cheese lived happily ever after. In fact, till this day, it remains a mystery in what exact fashion they managed to live happily in each other.
鼓掌。Last， 我跟你们说，最后一位
I
用
was never a story reader.
我们听完典雅的007英国腔之后，我们就结束这次的演习，好不好？好。
Once upon a time, in a land which is far, far away, there lived, among others, like rats, cats, and bats, a mouse. At just about the same time, in a land that is not so far away from this land, there lived, among others, like cakes, crackers, and cameras, a cheese. So there you have it, a mouse and a cheese. Or if you're into that whole alphabetical order thingy, a cheese and a mouse. Anyway, one day, after Lord knows how long starvation, the mouse was hungry. He looked and searched and failed and had nothing to eat. By the way, on the same day, after Lord knows how long of meditation, the cheese was there. It sat and breathed and aged and had nowhere to go. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the mouse saw the cheese. Unfortunately, out of curiosity, the cheese saw the mouse. Subsequently, out of logicality, they saw each other. Ultimately, out of necessity, one ate the other. And so we have it. A hungry mouse and an aging cheese lived happily ever after. In fact, to this day, it remains a mystery in what exact fashion they managed to live happily ever. In each other.
鼓掌鼓掌！我们开灯哦，我们谢谢。我们开灯，大家起立好不好 ？Would you all rise? Well, let's say goodbye to each other. Please. 我们都有群组，你们希望我跟团队给你们任何教学上的协助啊，千万不要客气哦。This is not an ending， 知道吗？刚刚才开始哦。星期四、星期五的时候，我们在南投的另外一个地方研习。你们如果有朋友有兴趣的话，就跟我们主办单位联络，这样好不好？非常感谢大家哦。我们要来鞠躬，take a bow right？真的是谢谢大家啦，谢谢大家。一起哦，好，就是我说老师们再见，你们就是谢谢团队， 谢谢彼此。那个勇敢发声的先不用了嘛，就是要谢谢外师朋友，不是就是已经转换成外师朋友了吗？好不好？谢谢团队，谢谢彼此，谢谢可爱的外师，好不好？好，各位老师再见。
谢谢团队，谢谢彼此，谢谢
可爱的外师，鼓掌。